So first, we're going to talk about native targeting, what that means, how you go about building that and leveraging that for your digital advertising campaigns. So native targeting in the context of this conversation is building the audiences natively with demographics and different identifiers within the platform. So for example, if you go to Meta and you go to build an audience natively, you're selecting ages, you're selecting geographies, you're looking at people's interests as well as how they may identify themselves on platforms. So it could be by a group that's created, whether it's an education employee, a teacher, a superintendent, a principal, things like that. LinkedIn has its own version of that. TikTok has its own version of that. But each platform has these predetermined fields that they have used to group users from their platforms into audience segments. And by combining all of those together, you create your custom audience, but via native targeting. So the benefit of that is it's already a platform. It's quick. The platforms have done the lift initially. So you just go in and you type and you select from a predetermined list, and then it gives you an immediate, this is your audience. There are very, very real limitations that come with that. And when we talk about the limitations of native targeting, it comes from those predetermined groups. So if you have someone who you're building a list for, you indicate that you want them to be a teacher, you want them to live in the state of Indiana, and they should be between the ages of 25 to 65 and up. With those type of parameters, myself would then be served an ad. I have never taught in a classroom. I'm not a teacher. However, I do meet the education interests that Meta uses to group me as a teacher. And then I also fit the geography and that age range. However, because I've never taught a day in the classroom, yet my employment history and my interests align with education, your ad dollars are then going to be spent on serving me ads when I am not your ideal audience. So native targeting has this double-edged sword of, yes, it's great for building audiences with these interests. However, because it's not confirmed information, it's inferred based off of what we look at, engage with, how we present ourselves on platforms, you're actually spending ad dollars on audience members who are not actually the educators that you guys are after. So it's a really important opportunity. It's a great way to start some of that targeting rather than serving ads to anyone and everyone. However, there are limitations based off of what the platforms themselves can infer from what we present ourselves as digitally.